Hey guys, Dave here, and well, yeah. So after almost a week of being sick off and on, we're finally getting to building the Sinanju bust. I hope you guys enjoy this build. I'm going to end up doing this in sections as per the manual. So it's going to start off with the chest, the base, I think it's the backpack, fuel pods, and there's going to be like 4 different videos just so it's not so long, but I'm going to show you guys the build process just in case you decide to pick one up. I have, as you can see over here, I've actually already trimmed and cleaned the nubs on everything, and I have them all in Ziploc baggies like this, marked like this one's 17. So if you look at the manual here, it actually shows like section 11, section 12, section 13, section 14. And so that's how I decided to trim down and separate all the parts into the bags. It'll just make it easier. It'll also make it easier for filming. I've already got everything done. I just lay out the parts, put them together, and show you guys on camera. So I hope you guys enjoy this. If you do, definitely click that like button, subscribe if you haven't already, and without further ado, let's get into it. All right guys, so like I said, I have everything all in bags here. What I'm going to do is I'm going to scoop these onto the floor actually behind me in order that I'm going to end up building. But I wanted to kind of show you how I ended up doing everything. We got one all the way over here that you guys can't see, all the way up through to the end, and of course the base here. So let me clean this off and we'll get right to it. So many bags, so many bags. So how I'm going to end up doing this is, of course, with the overhead cam, and I've got the manual set up being propped up by my water cup for painting, and I'm just going to lay out the parts, snap them all together, and I'm probably going to do it as a speed build instead of talking to you guys as I go through the whole thing. Otherwise, it's going to take for freaking ever. But I will probably talk during it, and I may decide to either leave that in or cut into certain parts. Now, it is showing on here that you want to make sure that this is the piece, and they're pretty clear with their instructions on how this ends up going together. Now, I did end up seeing Justin doing his, and he actually left all his wiring together. I actually, when I separated it, I went per the manual. First, I tried it out to make sure that the lights were working. And then second, I took Tamiya masking tape, and as I separated the different sections, being the backpack or the shoulders, and I actually labeled those individual lights, had them set to the side, and then as I went through the manual and separated them into baggies, then I went ahead and put those into those individual bags. So this just goes in there. It fits in there pretty loosely, so hopefully everything else goes around it tightly. On this you have the pilot seat, which the seat is fairly big. It would have been nice if it came with a pilot. That would have been kind of cool. Now these pieces do seem to go together fairly well. This one thing I meant to mention is you want to make sure this has a LED on here. You want to make sure that this is facing inward. And one thing I'm going to do is just add some masking tape on here just to keep that from continuing to slide out for now until we're ready to glue everything together. So there are some sections on here that it tells you to assemble in order and to follow the directions, and I would probably do so just to be safe. Now sliding this portion in here, this is going to slide into here. This, you want to make sure goes into this lower bracket that's over here. Makes it kind of confusing because everything's, well, black on the instructions, so you can't really tell, but that's where it ends up going. Now on this front section, you want to make sure that this goes through that slot. Make sure this is all pressed together as well as you can. line it up. Line up these other sections that are going to go together, just like that. Same on the other side. You've got pegs that line up here, and then a section that lines up down there. And just evenly press it together. You may have to wiggle it. So there's section 1 through 3. Alright guys, so I want to give you some advice on this section here. It shows to put this whole thing together, this black panel and gold panel, and then press it on. But I tried doing that and I found it was a lot easier to slide on this gold piece until it's butted down all the way and then put on that black piece. Doing it the other way, it's too hard to line up this slot over here and the little pegs that are in here. If you do it this way, they're just right there at the opening. It's just going to slide in all together and fit nice and snug. So that's my advice to you guys. On this piece here, on the directions, it shows you there's a wider end and a narrower end. You want to take that narrower end and slide it in. I don't know how sturdy that this little plastic peg's going to be. I thought about replacing it with metal, but then I would not be giving it a good review and build if I ended up starting doing those kind of modifications. This one's a little more involved as far as putting everything together. That is going to slide in. So that's going to fold up. Alright guys, so we have a new revision after seeing that. If you saw that section, you saw I had a pain in the butt getting this in here. And so this section comes after this, after doing this section. I would, if it were me and I were going through it again, put this on first, then put these on, because it's going to, you can get it on there, but you're going to end up scraping the plastic. So that's my suggestion to you guys. Alright guys, so for this section here, it's going to be kind of sketchy, but you want to line up the two peg holes that are over on this side. They're big squares. This will slide into the slot just like this one. You want to make sure and pull this wire out of the way, because when you slide it in, just slide it in slowly, and then you're going to feed that wire up through just like that. They intended this to be designed to be plugged in like so, kind of how it ends up looking. On this other side, these wires up, line everything up, just making sure that that is still in there. Slide it together slowly, make sure you don't do what I just did and pinch a wire. Pull that out. Now that we have that there, I guess I could have kind of taped that in there, but and I'm just watching that and then you're going to have to kind of brute force it. And as if you didn't have enough to watch, you also have to watch this wire down in here that it doesn't get pinched while you're putting it all together. Just do it slow and surely and you'll get it all together. The fit isn't super together, but you can glue it if you choose to. I'm not going to right now because I don't know what I'm going to end up having to pull off in the long run. Next up are going to be the shoulder sections. You're just going to feed the wires through and slide them on just like this. One thing I do have to give this kit, everything has been fitting together super snug. So you got your PC joint in here, just feed in your wires and just kind of rock it back and forth to get it to fit down on there. All right, boys and girls, so here we are with the waist section, and these are some super shiny parts, so just be warned on that. And so this will be great if you're just doing this as a build, and then panel lining just as is going to be a-okay. I do like the fact that this has the metal pipings. They look really good. Now with the springs that are on here, when you open up the metal packet, you're going to have two sets of springs. You're going to have these longer ones, you're going to have shorter ones. Shorter ones get used later on, so just keep that in mind. Now on the manual it does say a spring 10.3 millimeters. It actually means 103 millimeters. And then there's going to be 8 of these that go on each side. Now when you put this piece in, you're going to want to kind of tuck it into this notch right here and then fold it in. Otherwise it's not going to end up going. This is going to just fold up and slide into the notches. Now, one of the things you're going to want to do is lift this up a little bit to be able to even get that under there. And then push it in. And then the downside is this is kind of blocking, this blocks it from coming up the way that it was, so it'll only come up partial, then let that come up partial, and then that down like that. Alright guys, so here we are with the chest section. This is the end of video number 1. The next section will be the base. I hope you guys enjoyed that. This thing is freaking huge. For comparison, here is a 16-ounce can. It's almost the same size. I think this looks great. There are some fitting issues that I found, and some parts do need a little trimming, mostly where these black pieces go with the gold, them insetting. But other than that, it's not bad. I do like the added details of the metal parts on here. And altogether, I think it's a really cool kit so far. And freaking huge. If you like this video, you want to see the rest of the series, definitely click the subscribe button, click the like button, And I will see you guys all in the next video. Peace out, YouTube.